Alright, I went through the fretboard entirely. It was a hot mess, I won't lie to you. When you sighted down this way, it looked like an old cobblestone pathway. How cool is that? You know, I recently met a local luthier who's probably been doing this longer than I've been alive. You know, if you judge a professional on doing something for 10,000 hours, then he's definitely got the time in. And he had some projects that he's probably not going to get to, so through some bartering and the amazing Jay, we ended up with this one. And I'm going to do some stuff to take it over the finish line and make it a player. Let me set you up and show you what I got here. Alright, big bag of parts. Now I know somebody down in the comment section is going to say, like, you should have done this, you should have done that. Well, I'm on a budget. You know, this bag of parts to finish this cost me just under $100, and that's out of my own pocket. You know, YouTube's not paying anything, and I don't have the subscriber base to have YouTube pay anything, and I don't think that's ever going to happen. So I have to make do, which is kind of the philosophy of this channel, you know. Make do with the cheap guitar that you have. How to fix up the cheap guitar that you have. It's not about putting the most expensive parts on the most expensive guitars. You know, and cheap parts today, some of them are just as good as the expensive stuff, so nobody's ever gonna know. It started here with a donation of some tuners, and this is from the amazing Jay. Thank you, Jay. And they're in gold, so that kind of set in motion the theme we're gonna have. I think this bridge was supposed to be set up with a trapeze style. I decided to go with something a little more stable, so I went with just your standard Les Paul bridge. It's got roller tops and it's in gold. It's routed for P90 pickups, and I didn't want to reroute or anything, so I just went and I found these Wilkinson P90 pickups. They had good reviews, so we'll see how those sound. I got a little gold hardware kit just for that miscellaneous stuff. I got a gold input jack, and I got a wiring harness. First thing I want to do is go through this fretboard. I want to install the tuners in the bridge and put some cheap strings on it just to make sure everything's lined up right and we're all good there. And then I can start finishing it, because I don't want to have a nice finish on it and then have to start drilling. I'd rather have everything pre-drilled. Put the stuff away, I'll do that, get some strings on it, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, I went through the fretboard entirely. It was a hot mess, I won't lie to you. When you sighted down this way, it looked like an old cobblestone pathway. There was a lot of frets that just weren't even set completely. I went through it. Everything is pretty good and straight now. I'm glad I did that before I did finish on it. I also drilled for the bridge and the tailpiece, and I got them pretty much perfect in there. So I got a good equal distance on either side there. And I installed the tuners. I put in two just old crappy no-name strings just to kind of line it up, and it works pretty good. The nut was super high, and I started shaving it down, and I just went too far, which was a good sign. So I ordered a tusk, a black one, because it's going to kind of go with the theme of the guitar. Black nuts on the way, and there's a joke in there somewhere. What I'm going to do next is start finishing. I'm going to strip this down, and then I'll show you what I got. Alright, if you notice when I was hammering in the inserts, I had used these just scrap screws because I didn't want to start banging on the new hardware. I think these came from some IKEA build, but they always work pretty good. But you know what it was? Maybe it was like the TV hanger thing. I always save all the screws that you get. You know, you get these big bags of screws. Anyway, I made a little peg that should fit down in there. And then I should be able to tighten in the screw and it should lift the insert out. So it doesn't get jammed in there. Alright, I need to put a finish on this thing and I'll show you what I'm thinking. Now, a couple months back I put together a DIY base kit. It was an Explorer shape, and for the coloring I used this sparkly gel stain called Unicorn Spit. It was a dark red color called Dolly Firebird, and it really worked well. So I wanted to go down that route again. I went and grabbed 2 more bottles of the stuff. This time I went with green. We don't have any green guitars in our jam room, so you have a sparkly green and more of a solid green. But the thing about these is they're not really as opaque when you put them on wood as it looks in the bottle. It comes out a lot brighter. So I found when I did the Explorer base that if I did an undercoat of some black stain, that it really made these colors more true to what was in the bottle. What I'm probably going to do with this is I'm going to do 3 coats on the top of the headstock. I want that really dark. The back of the guitar, the back of the neck, and the back of the headstock, I'm going to do maybe 2 coats. The front here, where all the graining is, I want to see all this graining, so I'm going to probably just get a little of the stain on some paper towel, you know, kind of wipe it off first and get it really lightly on there. And then I'm going to use the sparkly on the top, the face, and I'll use the solid color on the back and the headstock. I did a little sample here on a piece of crappy pine, and it's kind of what I'm going for. So this would be more the back of the guitar, and the sparkly would be the face of the guitar. And I think that's going to look pretty good. I have a lot of taping off to do here of binding. I'm probably going to give it a light sanding first. It's pretty smooth, but I just want to get all the crust off of it that's been on it, pencil marks and such. I also need to carve up the top of the headstock here. This design is, I did a tracing of the light crust Doughboy guitar that I did. So it's sort of Gibson-esque, but not exactly. And I think that'll look pretty good. So I'm probably going to cut that, do some sanding, tape it up, start doing my staining. And I'll bring you back if I run into anything crazy. Alright, I got a green guitar now. But not a real green guitar, that's cruel. I placed out the bridge and the tailpiece here just so you can kind of see the color scheme I'm going for. I kind of wish the binding was a little darker, but I think that'll be okay. Maybe with age it'll yellow or something. But I wanted to show you what that unicorn spit looks like if you don't have it on a dark wood or you don't back it with anything. And that was the sparkle stuff. That was 3 coats of the sparkle stuff with nothing behind it. So with the black, it you know, just makes it darker. I'm going to hang this up overnight, let it kind of air out a little bit, and then I'm going to spritz a little clear coat up here so I can put my water slide decal on. I got a really cool decal to put on there. Yeah, let's leave it up for the night. I was really concerned with how bright the color was, but once I got a shot of clear coat on there, it really darkened it up to where I wanted it to be. So I'm ready to put on some decals. Now if I'm doing a light colored headstock, I'll just print these up at home, and you can too. You can get some water slide decal paper for inkjet or laser jet, print up whatever you want. But your home printer typically doesn't have white ink, so you're not going to get the white undercoat, and therefore your decals aren't going to be as opaque as you need them to be. So I found this company online called Guitar Decadence. They make very quality water slide decals and custom names or whatever you want on there. So when I build a custom guitar, my brand name is Supernaut, so that's going to go right there. And then for the title of the guitar, I'm going to go with Jovan Custom Special. That's the guy I got the guitar from, an old-time local luthier, and that's going to go right there. I think that'll look pretty good. What you do is you soak these for 30-40 seconds, slide them onto where you want them to be, and you got a couple minutes to work them where you need them. Tap it with a paper towel, get out any excess water, and just keep tapping it until it sits flat, and let it dry for a couple hours, and then you can clear over it. I also put down some decal set. It's this stuff from Testers. Put a little bit of that down across here, and then we can put our decals on. Whenever I order these decals, I always order 2 sets, but I always typically just need one, but I'm always afraid I'm going to screw up one of them, so having a backup is always good. And it gives me extra Supernaut logos, so that's kind of cool. And if you're printing these up at home, you want to clear coat them too first. So after you print it up on the decal paper, just spritz some rattle can clear over it. Otherwise your ink will run. And there's a point where it just kind of breaks free from the backing paper. So it's like a year later. I really screwed up the finish on this. Basically the clear coat. That unicorn spit I used works really well. 2 coats. Don't go any more than that. 3 is really pushing it. The thing I ran into with this is just I'm not really good at clear coating. I get a lot of runs, and my gun wasn't set up correctly this time. And I really made a mess of it. So got hung up on the wall. I didn't do much with it. Couldn't bring myself to do anything with it. I kind of lost track of what I was doing with this video, what direction I was even going with. I ended up getting sick of looking at it for a year. Gave it a little sanding. Passed it off to Super Tib to give me a nice clear coat. And he did that. So instead of having it being a perfect looking thing that might have come out of the 50s, it's just, you know, got a little distress on it. Mostly on the back. I can live with that. And there is this one spot here I'm not happy with, but I don't know. So at this point I just want to put it together, get it out of here, give it to one of my friends or something. I don't know. But I'm really sick of looking at it, so without further ado, let's finish up what we got going here. I'm going to have to drill out a little for the switch. I'll do that first. I kind of even forgot what I picked out for this. I had other projects come up and I used parts off of it. For instance, the knobs. I ended up using those on something else, so just going through stuff here. I just ordered some more of those, but I don't need those to put it together. I got everything else here. I left out this last, nut here so I can run my ground up to it. But other than that, the wiring harness I got is all put together. Works pretty good. I did get these Wilkinson pickups. It's probably about the 4th project I've used the Wilkinsons in, and I'm really liking them. They're super affordable and they sound just fine to me. I got this thing all set up with the tuners. I got those in. I got the strap buttons on. Got some nice shielding here. Yeah, I need to drill for that switch. Get a Christmas tree bit out here and see if we can make that a little bigger. Picked the stepper bit set up at Harbor Freight. I was kind of sick of there's so much wax on there the tape won't stick to it. I was kind of sick of blasting out all my holes I drilled. I got some nice hole drilling stuff, but trying to enlarge stuff, you really need like a stepper bit or something. Let's see how this goes. Go slow. Ready to pound in the last little captured nut here, and you can try to solder that, but it's probably not going to work very well. I also always like to use like a scrap bolt to pound it in. That way you're not ruining the mushroom in the top or anything if it's a tight fit. So this I kind of want to just catch the edge of this ground. I left about a 1/2 inch there to fray out. And I'll pound it all down in together with a rubber mallet. I'm going to do that over in my stool in my lap. Let's do it. It's indeed a very tight fit, but that's good. Got a captured ground wire there now too. Alright, let's see about mounting these pickups. Pretty sure they just get screwed down in there. And it kind of gave me 2 options. It looked like there was foam. I don't know if I need the foam.
going to stick up too high. Let's get the neck in first. Alright, I can warm up my soldering iron. Got 5 points to attach, 3 grounds, neck volume, bridge volume. Alright, it works. I think that I can string it up now at least. The one other thing I need to do is create some plates for it. I need a cover for the truss rod, and I need the 2 plates for the back. And rather than try to buy those, I'm going to make them here myself. I got a really cool idea for what I want to do up here. Stick around. Alright, first pass with the new strings. It sounds really thick coming out of the PV. The PV Rage at that. I do need to raise the bridge pickup a little bit. I think I'm going to go with either the second piece of foam or maybe the springs. This one sits pretty good where it is. The strings are a little bit high, and that's due to the nut being a little high. I got to shave that down a little bit. The bridge is about as low as it's going to go, and I'd like a little lower, but I think by taking down what I need to take off the nut will bring it down a little bit more. And then I might have to do a truss rod adjustment. It is just a little bit tweaked up this way, but that was once the strings were under full tension, so maybe like, you know, a quarter turn there, eighth of a turn on the truss rod. I got to adjust the nut, raise the pickups, but other than that, close it in. Everything sits really nice, like right where the strings go. Yeah, it's a pretty sharp looking guitar too. Alright, it's getting late. I'm going to get some sleep and come back to this in the morning. Well, my $5 knobs came in, and you kind of get what you pay for. They were awful. I'll show these on screen. Don't ever get these. I've spent $5 on knobs before, and they've been functional. These are just garbage. I had to glue the inserts in to get them to sit. But they're in there now. It, you know, completes the look. So, only thing left to do was to carve some plates for the back, which I did. I'll show you how I did that. And while you're here, you can watch the plastic get pulled. There you go. You can actually take that off again and put some shielding in there. But while I was cutting those, I had to do the truss rod cover too. And, you know, I've always liked the crown that they put on the SGs. And I didn't want to just do a bell here. I could have just bought that. So I custom carved this crown shaped one. I think that's going to look really cool there. So I just got to kind of put it where it needs to be, screw it down, and then peel off the little plastic. Pull this out of here and peel off the top layer. This one might have 2 layers. Another thing I did when I carved this was I countersunk a little bit for the heads. Just a hair. That looks pretty cool. I like that. I think that looks way better than, you know, a bell end. Change a lot of sounds with just the knobs.
Just this one changes
that tone, yeah.
stank on it.
Unbelievable.
It's got some stank on it.
Sweet, dude.
What do you think of it?
I love it.
Good. It's yours.
Fucking light.
Merry Christmas.
No way.